Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode. Today we have a very special guest, the delectable, super talented, cheerful, and bright Reni.
Hi.
Reni of Rendoll. So tell us about yourself.
So my name is Reni. I'm the founder and creative director of Rendoll. So Rendoll is an attainable luxury women's wear brand, and we're basically just focused on making women feel confident and bold through pieces. It's size inclusive. We really just believe that everyone should feel confident in their own skin. So yeah, that's our main ethos.
Look amazing.
Exactly.
Thanks, Reni. I'm really happy to have you here.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
So first off, what got you into clothing, Rendoll?
So I studied law in uni, went to law school, and then during NYSC, I was working at a litigation law firm.
Okay.
And in terms of fashion, since I moved back to Lagos after uni, I've always kind of designed my own clothes and given to tailors to make for me. So it was kind of easy to wear what I always wanted to wear.
Yeah.
And then on some random day, like sitting in traffic, I was like, you know what? Like, I've been doing this for myself. Let me just try and let me make this into a business and see if it works. I mean, I had ideas in my head of what I would want my clothing line to look like, but it started off very casual. Like, there was no business plan. There was no, I'm planning for this for like 6 months. It was literally in May. I was like, yeah, I'm starting a clothing line. In June, I had registered it. July, I had released the collection. Like, there was no time to say, I'm not doing this anymore. And I think, yes, I've been good at like styling myself, but I did have to learn a lot on the job because I've never done fashion before. I have a law and business background, like nothing about fashion. So I would say I definitely did have to do like a lot of self-learning to be able to kind of move with the business.
Okay. So once you got the idea, you were pushed to start, how did you go about starting?
So I think I had like a couple prerequisites that I had to do. So I came up with the name Rendoll. Then I went to register it with CAC.
Okay.
And then social media, business account. So just the basic things that you need to start. For me, I didn't want to be sending like my personal account number.
Yes.
So
very important.
So I actually first thing I did was social media. I was like, I wanted to do just Rendoll, but I mean, someone has a name on Instagram. Some guy that has been MIA. He's been MIA for like 13 years, and I've been trying to message. Do you get? Anyway, so I put it as Rendoll Lagos, and then after that I did CAC, registering it as a company, and then bank account. So those were like the main things that I feel like, at the beginning I have to do. I didn't start with the websites because there was no money for that, and I didn't even have the expertise to build one, get somebody to build one. I was like, we can just start with like doing Instagram orders and grow from there. Exactly.
That's really cool. So between starting out and I guess maybe where you're at now, what are the things that have kind of shaped the journey, like good and bad actually? What do you feel have been pivotal moments that have made you learn, had to like, I guess, focus on other stuff?
So I would say there's a couple things. So in terms of like appreciation for like how far I've gone and what I've been able to do in this amount of time, I would say the first big thing for me was like being featured in Vogue.
That was
because I think I started Rendoll in June of 2019, and I think Vogue was October, November, December of the next year. So it was like a 1-year-old brand. And it's funny because like when I tell people what it was like behind the scenes, they're like, you're lying. It was like under my dad's staircase with one sewing machine, one weaving machine, me and my one tailor, and literally that was it. So for me, that was like a very big turning point in terms of like, if one of the biggest magazines in the world has noticed the small thing that you're doing here, then it does mean that you have potential to go further. I mean, I've gotten like a lot more publications since then. I would also say At first, the people that wore Rendoll, people that I knew, I would say like 80% of them. But then it got to a point where I'm seeing people and I don't know who they are. So for me, it's like, okay, you're not buying it because of me anymore. You're buying it because it's a brand that is standing on its own. So I would definitely say that. Even just getting like positive feedback. Like someone messaged me yesterday. I had a pop-up in London and she came and she bought something and she was like, oh, I wore this dress, it made me feel this good. I'm so happy that I could get this from a Nigerian brand. So like little things like that kind of just continue to shape where I want to go and just encourage me to keep going that way.
The positive reinforcement encourages you.
Exactly. And it's funny because even the negative stuff, I don't think that one bad thing has happened and I'm like, I'm not doing it again. It's like every bad thing, I'm like, okay, how do we make sure that this doesn't happen again so that we can still get to wherever it is we're trying to get to?
What's some examples of bad that happened and you pushed through? Because I feel like that's inspiring for us to
So at first, I used to buy my fabrics here. And that's because I was doing smaller quantities. But then when our styles started getting a bit more popular and we needed to do restocks, I was having issues with that because what kind of happens is you buy fabrics from here and they tell you a sample. I never got what that meant, but it means that once it's gone, it's gone. Literally, once it's gone, it's gone. So if I make 20 pieces and it's gone and people want restocks, I can't do that. And then I found that
color, texture.
Yeah, I was just like, that's not what I'm trying to build. Because I also wanted a thing where you can come to Rendoll and these are staple styles, and you know that even 2 years from now, that like look at the LV Neverfull bag. It's been there 4 years. So I was like, okay, I can't buy fabrics here anymore. Let me start importing fabrics. The first time that I imported fabrics, I didn't order samples because everything just seemed so long, and I was like, oh, this thing needs to come out in like 6 weeks. I don't have time to be sending samples here, confirming. So I was like, oh, just send me videos and pictures and I can gauge from there. God knows how many millions I wasted because it came to Lagos and I didn't even have money. So I'm just like, I've taken all the money I've made from this business and put it into like expanding, hoping that, okay, it will lead somewhere. And then all the fabrics came and it's not even like it didn't work for the style. The fabric was just useless. Like it didn't, if you pull it can tear. And I'm just like, this is me trying to go to a new stage of, okay, now we import our fabrics, better this, better that. And then the fabrics are spoiling and tearing. And
that's horrible.
Yeah, so, I mean, luckily it wasn't like the whole collection. So I just took out those styles. So it meant that I couldn't release like a 10-piece collection. It was only 6. But for me now, I think one thing that I've learned from Rendoll is things happen every day, like literally every day, and I don't have the time to be sad or to dwell about it or cry. It's like, okay, so what's the solution? Like, get up and keep moving. So I think that that's definitely one thing that has shaped me. I'm not a dweller anymore. I don't have time for it. It's like, okay, it happened. It's fine. It's life. Like, what's the next solution? How do we move on? Literally. I mean, to be fair, so I do think that when you are like very big part of your business and your business is like your baby, things will get to you because it's not a thing that you're removed from. So you might have someone complain about something, for example, and it's very important for you to make that distinction that you are not your business because you do your feelings every day and you can't afford to be your feelings every day. Exactly. So I would say also just take criticism as what it is. I mean, obviously you get the ones that are not constructive, but see, that's what life is, and you just take what you need to take out of it and just keep moving.
Since your Vogue feature, you've done a lot more work, you've grown. What would you say would be the kind of thing that you'd want to move into? Like, what's your next step or stage that you'd like to work into?
So next for Rendoll, like what we're doing at the moment is I want to do more wholesale. So for me, it's very important for me to grow organically. So I'm not really in a stage where I feel like, oh, I need investment and I just want to jump from like B now all the way to D. Because so I think maybe now, for example, we have like 30K followers. I don't want anything where we get investments and they've done all the marketing, blah, 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 like the big brands, and then all of a sudden we have 200K followers. Like I want it to grow naturally. So for me, I'm focusing on that now, but then we're also trying to do wholesale. So for me, wholesale will put you in more stores.
Yes.
And then it's easier for people to shop as well because, for example, like shopping from Nigeria, there's expensive shipping fees. So people in the UK, for example, want to buy, you must really like something to pay like £20 for shipping. So if we were stocked in brands that ship from the UK,
Yes.
then it's easier for people who already like your brand to shop from. Exactly. So I'm kind of focusing not more actually, because it's still very important to me to continue this journey, but I'm focusing on also doing wholesale.
Okay. So stockists in America, Canada,
exactly.
everywhere, you can just get it.
As many as possible.
Okay. So what do you think has been the hardest stepping stone of your business in Nigeria? So obviously you mentioned like the fabrics, but peculiar to Nigeria, being in Nigeria.
There's so many of them. I'm trying to like rank them in terms of which is the hardest. But for example, I would say like just we don't have, you know how, for example, if you're producing in China, if you have a brand in China, everything is there. All the factories are there, all the fabrics, everything is at your disposal. Me, if I'm trying to run an international level brand in Nigeria, and even the fabrics I'm trying to use are like expensive fabrics, which means I have to bring in the fabrics. You know what dollar is saying? You sleep, you wake up, dollar has gone up. So every day it's literally getting more and more expensive to do everything. And I can't increase my prices at the rates that costs are going up, because you're going to lose your customers. So I would say having to import almost everything that I need is probably one of the most difficult things, I would say. And so in Nigeria, we have a shopping culture of Instagram business. So it's like, just send a DM. I want to buy this. How much? Or they can message you at like 3 a.m. And for me, I did start off that way. And that's because I couldn't afford a website. But for me, a website just makes it very straightforward. Even if I'm sleeping at 3 a.m., if my staff are asleep, you can still buy what you need to buy. You don't need to wait for us to send you the account number or ask you all sorts of questions. Like, you can just go there and put everything. Even in terms of inventory, like it records inventory, something is out of stock. If you want to be notified when it comes back in stock, like everything is pretty straightforward. But the thing is, you actually can't blame Nigerians for not wanting to shop on websites, because I've also had like really bad shopping experiences with websites here. You buy something and then they message you, oh, sorry, we haven't updated our website in 3 weeks. So this thing is out of stock. Yeah, it happens a lot. Yeah, and you also have, there are like so many Instagram businesses these days. You don't know who is a scam. You don't know who is real. So you transfer to somebody and you don't get your thing. So they kind of always want to feel like they have someone to talk to, so that if anything goes wrong, they know who they're going to hold. But I think we've been able to guide our customers towards like using the website. These days, I don't think, maybe at the beginning was a bit difficult for people. Some people be like, I don't want to go to the website. Just give me your account number, let me transfer.
Yeah.
But these days, maybe we get that like 1 in 60 people. So at least that's something that has kind of gotten better. Yeah.
Yeah, I think automation actually does help. Like you said, it helps you, helps your team, helps your efficiency. Like everything
is much better, honestly.
Maybe Dropping is that ultimate payment gateway that enables online businesses, whether you're an e-commerce store or WooCommerce site, to integrate into the system, and this enables you to receive payments online via card, USSD, or bank transfer.
So I would say for fashion businesses like yours, what are the 3 things that you would say, or even 5, go up to 5, that you would say that you wish you knew when you started out?
You're not going to blow in a day. Like, that one is so important. Number 2, influencers are not there to change your business.
Okay.
And I'll expand a bit on that. Some people feel like if you send an influencer an outfit, you're going to sell out on that outfit, and your day has been made, your business has transformed. While it might happen with like maybe 1 in 50 influencers, I feel like they're there to be like a tick of approval. So you have to be doing the groundwork by yourself. You have to be making your brand have that image, so that when this person wears it, if someone sees it's like, okay, I've been seeing that brand here and there, and then this influencer that I like has worn it, that means that the brand must be good. Do you get what I mean? So I feel like I had to understand that it wasn't a linear process, and that also it's not always about sales with influencers. For example, like it can be new followers, it can be new saves, like everything doesn't have to translate to sales at the moment. A lot of other metrics can mean that like the partnership worked. What else would I say I wish I knew? I wish I knew that I have to create boundaries between myself and my business, in the sense that because I'm the face of my business, a lot of people want to like come to me directly.
Okay.
And at first, like, because I'm trying to please everybody, but then I found that I was burnt out so much and like I'm overstretching myself, then I can't focus on the things I'm supposed to do, like growing the business, because I'm dealing with other things that I'm also trying to employ somebody to deal with.
Yeah.
So I've had to kind of create
healthy boundary.
Exactly. Unless there's a fire, like, don't bring it to me. Like, let the people that let the people that I have employed to do that.
Yeah.
What else did I wish I knew? That not every collection has to will sell out. So, for example, the first time when I first started Rendoll, I used to take pictures in my iPhone. Like, for even on the website, for like the first 2 years, it was all iPhone pictures, nothing professional. Yes. And then the collection where I moved into like studio photography sold out on the same day.
Whoa.
I was like, I mean, it might be the styles, it might be a combination of things, but that's when it happened. And I was like, I'm blown. That means all the other collections are going to be like this. Hey. And because I had to do multiple restocks for that collection, which is expensive because it means you're importing each time, I thought, okay, for my next one, let me order large numbers. And then it didn't sell out. And I was just there like, what am I supposed to do with all this stock? So I feel like you should take each one for what it is.
Okay.
It might be a good day today, doesn't mean that it's going to be a good day tomorrow. I think those are like my top ones. Yeah, just kind of go with the flow, yeah. And just like work for where you are at the moment. So I knew that, like, I was doing swimsuits, for example, and I did such a large number. Yes, but like, have you done these numbers before? Like, kind of grow gradually. Don't like just jump from doing 15 per piece to like, okay, everybody like this dress, let me go and do 100 in the other one. Because also when you're a small brand and you're self-funded, basically investing everything that you're making back into the business, any small mishap can literally make you bankrupt, because you're literally taking one collection and putting it back into another one. And if you don't sell that collection, or if it doesn't do well, then you don't have money for your next one. And customers kind of expect you to keep bringing out new stuff.
How do you avoid, like, when it comes to like creative like ideas and designs, how do you keep Rendoll like refreshed? Like, how do you, so for example, like there are many times that people obviously have similar things like this or that, but how do you keep the essence of Rendoll at heart?
I think this is why I work with prints a lot.
Okay.
Because for me, I can make like a pink bodycon dress. Another brand can make a pink bodycon dress, and they might be different. Similar. They might be different, maybe different fabrics, but it's similar. Yeah. Do you get what I mean? And it's a bodycon dress. You can't see anybody copy it. Do you get what I mean? So that's why I use prints a lot, because I feel like when you see that print, you know, okay, it's a Rendoll. So it's a Rendoll print. Unique. Exactly. Yeah. So I try to do like buy exclusive prints that, okay, if you see that print anywhere, you know that it's Rendoll. Okay. If you see it and it's not Rendoll, then you know that something has happened. Do you get what I mean? So I think that's why I work with like prints a lot, yeah.
So would you say you create your own prints, or you like outsource?
At first, it depends. Sometimes I kind of have an idea in my head of what I want, so I will speak to like a graphic designer, and then we'll do like a couple of samples. And then sometimes I just buy like ready-made prints from print designers as well.
So I know that some, I would say, upcoming designers or fashion businesses really, I would say, struggle to put out their best in their products. Like, they don't really know how to go about showing what they want to show. And I remember with Rendoll in the beginning, you used to have sketches.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if they were your sketches or somebody else's, but the fact was that obviously before you even had professional pictures, or you had the photography you were doing yourself, you had a way of showing what you wanted. And I feel like people buy into that. So this is obviously me coming with a point, but just kind of asking that, okay, was that you, or were you outsourcing like somebody to do it for you? And how was that transition? I know you spoke about obviously the shoots, but like I remember there was a time that there was like a 3D.
Oh yeah.
I still have that.
Yes, you have that.
But for different collections now, when that was released, that was like, wow, okay, I can literally, see that at home. Mm-hmm. And I guess, I don't know if that was brought from COVID. But
so at the beginning, I used to do the sketches. I mean, I can draw to an extent. You get the idea of it, but at a point, I started outsourcing it because I wanted like proper like drawings. I can do basic sketches, but not like the ones that you do on your iPad on Adobe and Photoshop. I'm not there. But it was very important to me at the beginning to kind of show the process, because I feel like sometimes you you don't want to just buy an item. You want to like buy the story of the
Yes.
item. Like people want to know, oh, how was it made? How did you come up with the idea? What inspired you, etc. So I don't do as much of that in that way. Like I still try to show the process behind a couple of stuff. Like I did do for my last collection, I did do sketches.
Okay.
But the 3D one as well was just something different. Because that one I want you to like chill at home and be on your phone and be able to see what the item. But I think the importance of that for me was basically just because you're not just selling a product, you're building a brand. So you kind of want to know what your brand story is, like what is important to you, why do you do this, etc.
Okay, so one of my last questions is going to be, would you say most people should just, start, or would you say they should do courses to kind of help and train them before they start their business, or do they grow with it?
I think it's a bunch of it's like a mixture of three of them. So in terms of courses, if it's something that you have absolutely no idea about, you do need to do like some introductory courses. So for me, I wasn't completely clueless on fashion. I didn't know like the nitty-gritty of it, but I mean, I had an idea, and I have done like even just online courses and to get a better idea. Then I also just start, because I told you how I just threw myself into it. Like I didn't even have money. I keep telling people that I started Rendoll with, it was 200k, which is, I think it was 400 pounds as of then. Now 200k is like less than 200 pounds. Yeah. So I started with that, and I should just start with what you have, because if you keep waiting for it to be perfect, it's never going to be perfect. Also, I feel like you have to leave room for yourself to grow and for your brand to get better. So if I started Rendoll how it is now, I just don't feel like my story would have been the same. So I think just start with what you have. Try and make it look as professional as possible, but as long as your products are nice, like people will. And what was the last option? There was one more.
So I said
courses.
Do the courses first, learn as you go.
Okay, yeah.
Or both.
Learn as you go, you definitely have to learn as you go, because there's so many things that I didn't know at the beginning. Even now, I'm still like learning new stuff every day. So I think it's a combination of all three, but my baseline would be just start with what you have.
Don't you have first-hand knowledge from clothing and textile? Did you do that?
Yes, I actually did, and it was just three of us in the class. I did clothing and textiles for 3 years. I even did this in WAEC. We made like a baby's dress. Yeah. But yeah, I don't really have much of the knowledge anymore. Well, to be fair, I guess there might be some like inside things from it. Yeah. I remember it was actually really fun, Mrs. Achism, and three of us were kind of just strolling. And I feel like when you have a class of like 20 people, you're really, really focused. But with 3 people, it's like these children don't want to learn. We'll not be thinking, we'll be telling her, that since we're not plenty, can we do F&N? Can we cook this weekend? She actually used to allow us, like, we'll do like cooking practicals and cool. But I think, maybe like there's a part of what I know now that would have come from. Yeah,
I do believe that like a lot of my creativity, or like the things that I've seen myself lean into coming from my childhood. Yeah. And it's based on things of like, maybe I liked doing this, or I liked watching this. And I feel like it does come into your life, even if you don't plan.
To be honest,
so
I agree.
In your subconscious, what gave you the confidence to even feel, maybe, I mean, you didn't know it, but I feel like at the back of your mind, you must have been very familiar. This is why you were able to design your own clothes.
Fair. I didn't even think about it this way. Fair enough. So even like types of stitches and cool,
and the fabric.
Makes sense. Because even like business-wise, like entrepreneurship, I remember as a child, I was always selling something. I would sit down, take magazines, cut it out, stick it in a book and try and sell it to my parents. Or we had this orange tray at home that the oranges were never ripe and never sweet. So go and take it, you squeeze it and say, I'm doing lemonade stand, too much GSTV. No, but I feel like these are traits that kind of still stay in you and shape you like later on in life.
So you had exposure to marketing and branding.
Thank you.
Honestly,
I didn't think about it that way before.
No, but I love that. I think it's beautiful to see, especially when things have actually helped.
And it's kind of just been like a journey. Right. I agree. Shout out Miss Achism. She needs to know. I feel like I have to go and find her and let her know that all her work was not in vain.
No, you do.
I feel like I'm going to go and look for her on Facebook, send her my website, and be like, see what I'm doing now. All the love they were telling me to do, now I've left the love behind.
God will take you to where you're meant to be.
Legit.
Thank you so much, Reni.
You're welcome.
Love having you here.
I love being here.
I've learned quite a lot. I feel like I'm going to learn the most from all of these conversations. And I think today as well, Reni, I've learned, me personally, I've taken notes. So thanks for sharing.
Glad to be able to help.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.